Thank you very much, Amy. I was just saying that I was just giggling. That is this even me? I went to get my pen and paper. But thank you very much for the opportunity to share with your community. I do not take it for granted. And yeah, so I'm just going to go right in. As I'm speaking, I hope everything that I say is valuable to you. I'm just going to go through the pointers. I heard some of the challenges that some business owners in this community have. And hopefully at the end of the Q&As, if there's time, we're able to, deal with some of them case by case scenario. Okay, so I'm just going to share a bit of my background as regards entrepreneurship and just give more context to some of the things that was said a few minutes ago. So I started my business, I would say, unofficially 2013. I was doing my master's here in Glasgow, Scotland, and I've always had a desire to run a business from childhood. My mom is an entrepreneur, so I grew up in the marketplace, literally. So finding my niche, realizing what I really liked was really in the hair space, hair care, natural hair care, just the hair care industry itself. I decided to start retailing goods based on the need that I saw then as an international student here in this city. So when I moved back to Nigeria, then there was nothing like post-study visa in that time. This is 2013, 2012. I moved to Nigeria and I started with an educational blog. So where we were not selling products as such, but we're just giving insight, things that I learned, useful resources. Then I started with a directory of hair care salons in Nigeria. So the blog was growing to such a point where people was, the clicks were increasing. Then we're using WordPress, the clicks were increasing. I was seeing the conversions daily of people finding salons through our websites. But then we'll find out that even when they find the salons and businesses, the businesses did not carry the products that they needed to even do the services. So they had a skill, but they did not really have the equipment. So we decided to start the, no, I say we, I, I decided to start the retail aspect of the business the following year, so 2014. And by the grace of God, so much learning curve, I continued that up until when I got married. I got married in 2017 and I moved back to the UK shortly after. So, of course, I needed to leave my baby behind. Baby, this was already a 5, 6 year old business at that time. If my math doesn't fail me, as at that time. And it was such a pivotal moment for me because I was sure this was God. I was sure I was in a godly marriage. God wanted me to move to another country, but I knew that I was not going to close that business. And this is where I would say the majority of my learnings in excellence in business and replicating myself in other people. And I would come to what I mean by that specifically replicating myself in other people, taking advantage of my stakeholders, setting in processes to ensure that the business is running like as if I'm still on ground. And I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, there's a lot of micromanagement in such a way that it's so cliche, but if they're not there, the business, there will be an obvious, lack. And I'm not talking about really, really small businesses where perhaps you're the one, offer, maybe you're a stylist or you are a farmer, you're the one doing the processes yourself. I'm talking about the ones that everything that you're doing, somebody else can do, but there's a lot of attachment to your business. So you've not been able to let go. So this process for me practically involved hiring. And obviously, that's another, I think hiring staff is another topic entirely. But hiring, not just hiring, being able to train and also ensure that the standards that are set are being followed in your absence. And now that starts from as practically as um, coaching, like treating the staff like the person is you and you're replicating all the standards of your businesses. Now, the number one challenge a lot of business owners face is that they don't even have set out, I would say, values, set out processes, set out standards. They're just winging it. So you don't have procedures, you don't have systems. When a customer messages you or sends you an email, there's no incorporating what they will say is SOP, standard of operation. They don't have anything like that. It's just, oh, good afternoon. There's a lot of pleasantries. And obviously, if you're running your business in a low trust climate, like Nigeria, for instance, I know there are a lot of entrepreneurs here from Nigeria as well. there's a lot of one-on-one and micromanaging before you can even get a sale. But I was willing to win my customers off that because I had a clear vision of my business. I knew that I wanted the business to run on autopilot. I wanted to go on holiday and not be panicking. I wanted to leave my laptop behind and the ship would still be sailing. Those were the things that were priority for me. So I think just as I'm speaking, it's important for you as a business owner to sit down and imagine exactly what your dream business is. And I don't mean that just like la la land. I mean, these things are so cliche, but it's because they're true, right? It's because they've worked over time. They have been proven. You need to sit down and look at your, what would I say, your customer journey, from finding out about you to making a sale to inquiries to closing a sale to post feedback. What is your process step by step, and what do you want that to look like for you? So I'll give my business as case study now. What my vision was, I wanted a customer that is awake by 2 a.m. in the morning, is just feeling maybe, tired of the way their hair care is, and it's like, you know what, I just watched this YouTube video, I'm so motivated to go and buy new products, I want to buy a product. I want the customer to go on Google and type hair care products in Lagos, in Nigeria, and my business is top 10. So this is not a vague vision. People can say, I want my business to be popular. How? In what regard? You can be a one-eyed man in a blind village. You can be the best business in your locality, but then nationally, nobody knows you. So you need to be explicit with your dreams for your business. So I'll say that's the first thing that I did. I knew that's what I wanted. So what does that mean? I cannot afford to be running a WhatsApp-based business. That was a no-no for me. And please, if you have questions or you want to drop nuggets, please feel free, so that at the end of we will not use time to start creating the questions again at the end. So I knew that kind of business model would not work for me. So that means investing into a website. And of course, as a young entrepreneur, then it's not like now where we have all this Squarespace, Shopify, and all of that. That was you can just go 1 minute, you set up your website. Then it was to set up a business, for those that understand some technical terms, it was literally Magento, WooCommerce, those kind of platforms that were there. So I had a friend, another thing about having people in your life, what the Bible calls your Aarons and your Urs. And I shared with her, and I was telling her about business names and the names I'd come up with, for my website. And, my whimsical self, the name I had was so long. She was like, girl, what are you on about? Look at global businesses. They don't have long names. You want your business name to be short, easy to remember. Even people, when you're not there and they see it, it's easy to remember. So I came up with my business name then, which was Niger Naturals. Very simple. I was thinking of Niger Naturals, hair, beauty, something.com. Now she was like, no, just keep it to nigernaturals.com. And I took her advice. And then literally in the week, she sent me a video. It was about a 10-part series on YouTube then. This is many years ago now, on how to create an e-commerce website by yourself. So then I didn't have a child. I didn't have a husband. I had all the time in the world. I sat down and I watched that video step by step, and I created our website myself then. And of course, over the years, my skills have improved in that space as well. The point I'm sharing in this point is just, there are really no excuses, right? That's not the word. There are excuses. There would always be a valid excuse. I don't know how to do it. It's expensive. But when there's a will, truly, truly, there's a way. So I was able to learn. Obviously, I was able to pay that time. The exchange rate was not like the way it is now. And the website was up. I had moved my database from the free, Blogspot, WordPress websites onto the new platform. I'd retailered the business. I started stocking products, just about 2 or 3 products. Now, the SKU now is over, if at least 500 different brands that we stock and products, with minimum of dozens and like that per product units. So that was how we started. So it's not like as if I just woke up one day and I had some funding somewhere. No, I had a 9 to 5. I was working, and it was from the earnings I was making monthly that I was using to float the business initially. But because I had already identified that there was a demand, I was able to fit into that need. Now, moving to the UK, how was I able to sustain the business? The first staff that I hired was a staff that was working with someone that I knew, and I just liked the way the girl behaved, and she was just excellent. I said to her, do you have somebody that is like you? That she's very the person, I wanted a woman, obviously. The person was very enthusiastic, they were sharp, they were willing to learn, and she recommended a younger sister. This girl was about 17 years old. In hindsight now, she was about 17. Yeah, I think 17 years old then. And I hired her. But because she had such a teachable spirit, and I also thank the Holy Spirit because I prayed about it that period, and she had such a teachable spirit. And there's a saying that says, um, it's better to hire character than to hire skill. They always say that, it may be in a different scale, it might not really make sense. But for that stage of my business, it wasn't about someone that had 20 years experience in retail or in customer support. It was about someone that was ready to learn and I was able to pour into. Considering I was rather young as well, cultural differences and stuff in Nigeria. I wanted someone that was young, that didn't have a lot of responsibilities, that could take in, knowledge. And this girl, in fact, she was amazing. I took my time, I sat down on my computer and I developed almost a 20-page document for different things. So the first document was our walk-in protocol. By the grace of God, I was able to get a store as well, a physical store. So we had products in it before I relocated. And this step by step, I don't leave room for assumptions. So in the case of when she wakes up and she gets to the store, what does she do first? She opens the door, she puts on CCTV cameras, she mops. The processes were clear, explanatory. And another thing I'm grateful for, I know that a lot of people do not have the privilege of that, is that I had, as I said earlier, I had a winning state, winning as in WENING. You know how you want to win a child from soft food to solids. So I was able to win myself off the business. I would come to the UK for like 3 weeks, 1 month. I would see the gaps, the loops, I would come back, I would fix it. Like that. I was going back and forth for, I would say, the first year of marriage. I think I was in Nigeria every 3 months, actually, at that period. Even prior to that, I'd been coming here, for holidays, and I was able to, test these processes that I was writing out. And anything that I felt like, would need my actual inputs, my physical inputs, we were finding solutions to it. And that brings us even to the technological aspect. There's something that a lot of people are afraid of, which is the cost of transition, meaning that you've been using maybe Excel for many years, all your data is there, and then there comes a new software, maybe an accounting software that will make your processes so much easier. But you have a fear of moving all your data, or even what would I call it, the workload of, how we have data analysts now, the workload of moving your data from one system to another. So you keep procrastinating till everything just, falls down to your face. And this can be for you as an entrepreneur. It could be your stock taking, it could be your record keeping, it could be your vendor list. And I'll give an example for the vendor list. So, you have artisans. So an average business that has a physical location, they would have a store, people that supply printing materials like thank you cards. If you have branding materials, it's better to do all those things locally, by the way, wherever city you are. Just if it's cheaper, it's just better. Okay, so you have those people that print branding materials. You have your career partners if it's a retail business. You have your banking officers if you're in a country like Nigeria where you have one-on-one like account officer relationships. You have people that come to service your equipment. So things like your printers, your even as little as your sliding doors or your doors, people that come to check your POS, fix your POS machine services, update your machinery if you're in a production business, for example, people that own restaurants and stuff like that. So those relationships are there. So it's important that with these stakeholders, when you're pivoting your business for whatever reason, my point with all these things I'm saying is just for you to be able to set your business on a global perspective, not necessarily like a local, oh, it's just me. And if that's you, not everyone's business is going to be in this scale or even beyond like Amazon. I just hope you're able to take some of these points on board and see how you can implement it in your own business as well. These relationships with these people are so essential. Trust me, you can't even underestimate how impactful these people are. To as little as the lady that was supplying our bubble wrap. Bubble wrap is what we used to wrap our products because we dealt with a lot of fragile products. So I had conversations with these people, one-on-one conversations. This is what's happening. I would not be on ground anymore. I want you to be supplying the store on a monthly basis with 2 rolls of bubble wrap, or on a weekly basis with this. Our thank you cards. Don't bother the staff. You just be delivering. My account officer, I had a good relationship with her as well. So when I left, there was a time where my token stopped. I don't know if people are familiar with what a token is. I think I forgot it in my trouser of my jeans and I put it in the washing machine and it wouldn't work. I couldn't make payments throughout from that moment onward. But because I had established a great relationship with my account officer, All I needed to do was to send her an email, and every transaction I needed for that day, I just fill it in a form, and she was authorizing it until she was able to help me send another token. So it's very important as a business owner, you don't have a one-man mindset, no matter how much introverted your personality is. It's very important that you keep these relationships vibrant, because these are some of the people that will go to your store and they will tell you, or they will go on your website and they'll say, oh, I noticed so and so and so is there, and they're able to give you feedback. Not just even stakeholders as regards vendors, even friends, family, and all of that. So those are some of the things that I did as well. Then also is automating processes. So the analogy that I gave earlier, as I want somebody to actually complete a transaction process without having me involved. I do not run a consultations type business as regards retail. I do that for my coaching and business and mentorship. But for if maybe you're a baker, you definitely need maybe a little bit more information if it's a bride and all of that. But I've also met bakers, and I'll give you case in point as a baker. I have family in Nigeria and I like to give. So I like on their birthdays, I make sure I deliver cakes, small chops, and all of that. Because I do not like to chat with people, like, hello, good afternoon, I want to order. I have this, there's select businesses that I shop from, and I've used them over and over and over again because I'm able to just go on their platforms, place my order without any human interaction. They've delivered, and I'm sure that they will deliver again, right? But for your own type of business, obviously, this is a case by case scenario. This might not work for you. But if you're on this call and you know that, think about it. Look at global businesses that are doing the same exact thing that you're doing. I doubt if the CEOs are there handling all the transactions or anything day by day. So it's important for you, for your business to be able to scale up your business without micromanaging, grow your business practically. You would need to find a way to hands off of your business. And I know, all these things, they sound good in text message, but as I said, you need to pivot slowly. You start, before you know, once you start handsing up, you find out that you even have a wider reach. Maybe before you used to invest a lot of time in paying for so many, maybe the coaching classes, but you're like, instead of me paying for coaching classes, let me go and pay for Google ads, since my problem is actually sales. Do you understand what I'm saying? So instead of me paying some coach, and I'm not saying coaches are bad, but it depends on the need of your business. Instead of me paying a coach, maybe say £200 for a session, why not me try that and do my Facebook boosting? Maybe go on YouTube, learn how to boost posts, and see if that generates any traffic for me. And if it generates traffic, what is stopping them from converting that traffic into sales? Technology is there for us to use, and as long as you have a good attitude towards learning new things, you are going to be able to create seamless business processes. Now, I'm going to talk about some routines that helps me to manage my time running two businesses. In fact, we even started a third recently, but running two businesses and still being a family person. I have a child, being present for my church family, being present for my friends. I like to have a good time. What kind of routines that help me? I think for me is that I have, what would I say? I actually do the work. And the thing is, first things, you just need to sit down and think about your life, your schedule. If you know that your kids, for example, if you're a parent and your kids go to school by 8 a.m., you know that from the moment you need to dress them up, maybe 6:30 a.m. or 7, till maybe pick up time for 2, you know that it's just one thing to another. You will not have time to work on your business. I currently applied for an accelerator, a business accelerator in my city. Out of so many applicants, to the glory of God, I actually got in. And now, in fact, it's hosted by Royal Bank of Scotland. And it's a great accelerator. It helps you with your business processes. They also give you like a working space and all of that. One thing that they told us in that meeting was that a lot of entrepreneurs work in their business, but not on their business. So working in your business, you're packing orders, you're replying inquiries, you are, doing all the, if not physical, you are the one doing your marketing, you're the one doing everything. But working on your business is actually strategically growing your business, saying, how will my business grow? Sometimes you have to sit down and be honest with yourself. This is my business I'm doing. If my profit per product is just £2, I'll probably need to sell 20,000 pounds of product for me to actually have any substantial money in my account. And these are some of, I'm telling you, real problems that I've already experienced myself, because we're dealing with hair products. We have products that are as cheap as £0.99 in Nigeria, as cheap as 500 naira. And we have products as expensive as almost 500,000, which is maybe, say, some of our hot tools, like some of the stain pots that we sell and all of that, salon equipment. So you need to sit down and decide, this is my business. If my business is going to grow, literally, a coaching business, a baking business, a retail business, a service industry, what do I need to do on the business, not in the business, on the business, for this business to actually grow? And how is my routine aligned with these goals that I have? If you're going to be busy every day till 2 p.m., that means you might need to pay the sacrifice of waking up earlier. Personally, for me, my child goes to nursery by 8:30 a.m. She's out of the house and she's not back till 5. So I'm privileged to have literally full working hours by myself, working on my businesses, doing the work, looking at my numbers, looking at my products, going online, doing my market research, what is trending. I'm not enough eyes on my business. So that even includes me watching YouTube videos, seeing what this popping, trendy, content creators are using that I'm able to stock to bring new traffic into my business. Sometimes I was working with someone he had a palm oil business, absolutely beautiful business, one product business, very scalable. He's here in the UK and he's always selling out. And we were working on his website, and I realized that every single thing he wanted were his own personal preferences, not what will appeal to his customers. So I had to tell him that, bro, you need to come out of your own lens. You are not enough sample size for your business. And I'll tell you how I learned this lesson as well. When I started my hair care brand business, I used to stock only the products that I liked and had proven that they worked for me, right? So products like I've used them, I've tested them, my friends had used them. Those were the products that I love to stock, because why? In my bubble then, as a younger entrepreneur, I felt like these are the products that I can explain, I can defend. But guess what? You are not enough sample size. There are other people that have different fragrance needs, different skin allergy needs, different budget preferences. Perhaps maybe you can afford products that are going for £20, 15,000 naira per bottle of shampoo. But someone that actually also cares about her hair, but can only afford to spend £5 on a shampoo, and assuming the exchange was, let me say, like 3,500. It's important they are able to also find products to fill that gap, except you have niched down your audience. So maybe your ideal customer, right? Maybe you've niched and said, okay, you only want people that maybe they are working professionals, they can only afford a certain type of product range, except that. So when I was speaking to this guy, I had to sit him and say, if you are online looking for palm oil to buy, first of all, would you even be online looking for palm oil, first of all? He was like, probably not. You'll probably ask somebody what brand they buy, or go to the African store. So I said, exactly. So before we even start dealing with the online, you have to think of the ideal user of palm oil bottle in the UK. When we tailored that out, we said, okay, if peradventure they're actually able to order online, do you think that they'll first meet you online, or maybe they saw it somewhere and someone gave a review and they're like, maybe reviews. So it's important on the website. It's not just aesthetics. Your product reviews are on the top. So this also affects even your decision making when you understand your customer. Now back to my routines. I said I'm able to work around the clock with my daughter. Also, is that I make use of technology. I think I've said, and I don't think maybe I haven't said it enough. I make use of technology. I set reminders. I stop I set reminders, I set alarms, because I know I can't remember everything. I have days, I'll say maybe on Mondays, for instance. Okay, currently what I do is now, on Mondays, I work on looking at the source of my sales. And because I use a website platform, so every Monday I look at the orders from the week before, and I look at what platform they got the sales came from. So my website tells me if the person came from direct typing into Google URL, it came from maybe a sponsored post we had done, it came from maybe an Instagram link. And if I notice that maybe that week we had, let me say, 50 orders, for instance, and 35 came from a referral. You as a business owner, what does that tell you? You need to find out what that referral source is, so you can pump in more resources into it, so you can keep generating that kind of results. Right? So if you don't have all these metrics to measure growth, you just be there. Oh, people like my product. So you are fine with just 100 orders a month or a year. But then God has actually given you capacity of 1,000. you know. So these are the things that you also want to talk about and think about: planning your day, using reminders, using technology. Also, if you have the grace to outsource, please do. But if you don't, you can plan your life in such a way that, see, if it's important to you, you will make time. This meeting is important to us. That's why we're on this call, right? We could have been doing something else. And some people might even be listening, maybe they're at work, today's bank holiday. I don't know if it's the same in Nigeria or other countries, but you could have been doing anything, but you chose to join this call. So if your business is important to you, you will find a way. So sit down and think about how you're going to, maybe you find out that you always forget to ask for customer feedback. And I know a lot of businesses suffer from this, right? And I don't mean feedback to ask maybe your product is good or bad. No, I mean feedback to give your business credibility. So things like, when you go on your website, you'll be like, my Google reviews, I need to start working on them. Even if you see, customers are funny. I'm sure a handful of us here are shopped online. And when you shop online, you notice that some companies, as soon as you delivered your products, before 7 working days, they've sent you, leave your review. Many of us don't, leave reviews. That's just the honest truth. But I found out that personally, I leave reviews. I like to, because I'm a business owner. So I know that, okay, if I sent out maybe 30 mails today or reviews, automated, by the way, because ain't nobody doing manual mail sending. So automated using platforms like, newsletter platforms, MailChimp, HubSpot. They are free platforms that I think MailChimp, if you get to 2,000 subscribers, then you need to start paying, right? And it's still, these things are affordable. We can buy clothes, we can buy shoes. So definitely we can pay for this thing, which I'm coming to after this, paying for stuff as well. So some of these things that we use will help you to actually manage your feedback process better. You say, okay, you know what, my mess is actually good, but I want to do an ad and I want to use my reviews to promote this business. How would I get more customers? Okay, so maybe, I don't know if anybody has watches YouTube videos. You know how this content creators will say there's something they call click to action, or what's it called now? Action clicks, like call to action. That's the word I'm looking for. Call to action. Meaning before they even start talking into the meat of the topic, they'll say, please don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up this video, like, because some of us, we don't even remember to. Not that because we don't appreciate their content. Some of us are even bursting into tongues as we're watching these videos. We are nodding our head. We're so enthusiastic about what we're hearing. But there's no prompting to like, to thumbs up, to leave a comment. For some of these influencers, they feel the need to actually say it before, during, and after, visually, audibly, so that at least if 10,000 people are watching, at least 2 will remember to like. So as a business owner, you need to take the bull by the horn. You need to work hard on getting your reviews. And I mean as little as putting thank you cards with call to actions. Our own thank you card, it even says on it that, it says, please leave us a review. Here are some of the things you can highlight, because sometimes people don't know what to review, right? So say our packaging, how easy it was to place an order. No spillage, because it's something that we pride ourselves with. No spillage when you receive the item. The item came securely. Customer support, competitive pricing. We're not saying we're the cheapest, but it's competitive enough for us to, for you to consider us, right? So that's another thing you want to consider as well. Look at, I feel like routines will not work if there's no goal you are using the routine for. You understand what I'm saying? So it's very important to realize that, okay, what are my goals? What do I want to achieve on my business this week, next week, the week after? And how will I tailor my routine? And sometimes, depending on your life scenario, you might be very privileged. And even me, that I'm saying that my daughter goes to, it wasn't always like that. In the UK here, I think till age 3, before they even start going to nursery properly, except you are a working professional and you put your child in nursery from like 3 months and all of that. But it was very challenging. Sometimes, I'll be working, maybe even filming it, because I also do content creation. I'm doing a product review for a brand, and my daughter is literally crying out. She's still breastfeeding, things like that. It's very challenging, but you just have to make it work. You just have to make it work. So that's that. Now, I'm going to talk about, I said I was going to highlight paying for stuff. So this is something that is a discipline, and I'm grateful to God, and I would appreciate, because I believe that a lot of everybody on this call here is a child of God, is to put our money to where we feel that there's value. I'm not talking about anything over the top. I'm just talking about, if an app, you are using it to edit, maybe say your videos or your brand promos, pay for the pro version. In fact, maybe Amy, you give them assignments that they should come and list how many products or things that they are paying for that helps their productivity. You can't want to grow and not want to, invest in that thing that you are doing. Look, I'm not saying that you need to pay for, the biggest, like Final Cut Pro. Now you have to pay £400, for a yearly license. But simple InShots, CapCut, those ones are not too expensive. You can consider them. And I want to believe that, God has even engraced us to even have more resources and capacity. Now, some of you, money is not your problem. You just don't place value on those things. Do you understand? So when they tell you a new perfume has launched, you are happy to go out and buy that new perfume. But to buy that software that will remove your watermark from that app, maybe invoices software that you're using, you won't pay for it. So we need to find out, look at our businesses, what tools we use, how we can pay for those things, pay for licenses. These things make our life easier. If they were not valuable, they would not ask us to pay for them, right? So that's another thing you also want to consider in ensuring that your business is, you're optimizing every resource that you come across, right? And even with paying for stuff, I also know somebody that I met with, many years ago. She was also an entrepreneur. She had a weave, an extension business. Very lovely lady. I got to work with her. But she even, her case was the reverse. She paid for every single thing. She had a MacBook Pro. She had a laptop. She had a desktop, a MacBook Pro laptop. She had a desktop. She had a HD camera. She had everything. But when I asked her, what have you done with these tools that you have? She said, my dear, I don't even know. I just carry out. I'm like, so we don't want to be that person either. You understand? So it's very important that whatever resource that we have, be it little, be it grand, we make the best out of it. If you have gadgets, if God has blessed you, you have gadgets, you have all those things, and you don't know how to use it, you can learn anything. That's my own mindset. You can. The only time you die is when you stop learning. You can learn anything. You just need to put your mind to it. As long as you have the desire to learn, you can learn anything. So please learn how to use these tools so that your businesses can, and I'm talking about, let me be more even foundational, invoicing tools, basic accounting. I'm not saying you should do your own auditing, basic accounting, know how to put your invoices and all those things. It seems like they're not important, but the more your business needs to grow, or you need to even do more things, you said that they'll start the needs. Even eBay, people that are selling on eBay, when she got to a threshold, they will ask you to start submitting all your invoices. So I don't know, eBay, maybe I think a similar platform like that in Africa is like Jumia. We have Jumia, something like Jumia. And I used to sell on Jumia before I actually moved. So platforms like that, the more you grow, the more your income and your capacity begins to grow through those platforms. You will need these tools, invoicing tools, photo editing tools, fast, automation tools, like I said, for newsletters. You will need tools like, even as I said, when they were reading my intro, like product photography, if it's something that maybe you have to take your own products yourself, you don't have the resources to hire, or it's something that that you're actually good at, you just need to just hone the skills. You need those softwares as well. You need to buy small, even gadgets, little things, USBs, anything that you need. Please do not be afraid to invest in them. It's very important. Otherwise, instead of it to be running at horsepower, you'll be running at snail pace, right? That's another thing. So I think that has covered the using technology to effectively run your business. Now, measuring. Another thing that I noticed. Let's
Sorry,
come
Tosin,
to.
yeah, can I make a quick comment before you move on?
Absolutely.
I want to say something, right? So this one is not necessarily a technological tool. I mean, you could consider a technology tool. Actually, it is technology tool, but I remember early in my business how I used to, and this is just to share how Tosin's, would I say, business excellence, has impacted me as well. So early in my business, when I was packaging orders, I used to print out the order list and the labels, and I was using a regular printer, HP printer. And so, I would print out the paper and like stick it on. I can't even remember how I was doing it. But and I don't know why I chose to do that, right? And I kept doing it, which meant that I always had to restock paper, I had to restock ink and all of that. And I honestly don't know why I did that. And I used to see people using like specific thermal label printers, but listen, I could never tell you why. And I think it goes back to that, like comments you made about don't be afraid of transition. Because for me, I just felt like, okay, I'm used to this printer, so let me just keep using it. But I can't remember what post Tosin did that day that it just kind of made the connection in my brain. And I was like, I'm wasting my time and my money printing shipping labels on a printer, and then I used to have to buy those papers that you can stick it on, and it was just cumbersome for no reason. And I can't remember, like that day I saw Tosin make a post, and I didn't even I just shut down my mind. I just went online to Amazon, and it wasn't even the cost. I don't know why I didn't do it earlier. And I went there and I ordered that thing. And that's what I started using to print out my shipping labels. And when I tell you, it's a small piece, but it's, oh my goodness, it
it
improved
makes
my
all the difference.
process so much. So please, that thing she's saying is very important. Be willing to let technology work for you. I save money on ink and just all that process of tearing paper and all of that. So please, I wanted to just share that.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Thank you. Yeah, so basically that's that, and it's so true. Obviously, you might. So, and I'll touch on that as well. Talking about the printed thing, I remember I shared a post on Valentine's Day. I think maybe 4 years ago now, and I talked about how maybe different gift ideas from your loved ones, and I'm like, and the reason that prompted my post is that I was talking to someone that I know, an acquaintance, and she has a baking business, and she was telling me that she needed to buy this what would I call it now? I think, this really industrial mixers. And I said, oh, how much is it? I mean, she said the cost, maybe under £500. I don't want to give the wrong figure, but it was under five. No, I remember she needed to buy a Cricut machine. That was what it was. I had been gifted a Cricut machine by the Cricut brand to make content for it. And I was telling her, she was like, oh my God, that she absolutely needs that. And I said, oh, what do you need? She was like, yeah, because she needs to make, she always goes to on Amazon to buy the toppers. So when you buy a cake and it says happy birthday to Sing, she needs to always buy it. And she's like, if I just buy the machine, I buy my papers, it even gives me more creativity, and I'm able to offer a more bespoke service for my customer. And I said, okay, just buy. I think the quick cut then was about maybe 400 and something pounds or £500. I can't remember now. And she said, oh, okay, that she'll be saving towards it. I just giggled and I just forgot about it. Tell me, Valentine's Day was like maybe a week to that. So she was telling me that her husband ordered her a designer shoe. Now, me, I would have said, oh, lovely. Do you know, I don't know how I'm like, you're so dumb. That's what I said to her. She was like, but I like this shoe. I said, but we were just discussing a week ago that you needed a Cricut. I said, wouldn't it be so beautiful if your spouses and loved ones know that if they give you gifts that aid your productivity, it would make you a happier person? I said, now, if they had bought you that shoe or that Cricut, or even both, as maybe as financially buoyant as your spouse, wouldn't you have been happy? I was like, does he know you need it? She was like, yes. And I said, okay, that means you have not communicated enough to your spouse that these things are a priority for you. She now said, oh, okay. Then she ended up, I don't know how she got the Cricut, but she ended up buying it. So a couple of days that I had done the content about, encouraging your spouse. If maybe you people are into gifting, it might not just even be for you. The current thermal printer that I use was actually a gift for my brother when I started the UK business. And it was like, oh, what do you need? And I said, oh, I would like a thermal printer. And said, okay, send me the link. And then he paid for it. And that was how he got it. And this is something that doesn't mean that I love flowers, doesn't mean that I would not appreciate a new perfume, a new this thing. But my family, even my husband knows, I think 2 Valentines ago, he bought me a drone because he knows that these are the things that are important to me for this season of my life. I'm not saying that if you come back maybe next year, or maybe I've blown, he will buy me drone and I'll know I'm not saying that, but sometimes, God has even blessed us with people in our family that that are loved, our friends. My garage now, we moved to a new house recently, and my garage shelving was a gift from my friend. She said she knows that, Tosin, I know you have so much inventory. What do you need? And I said, I would love more garage shelving. And she ordered 3 sets of shelves for me. I think it was about £300 or so. And it meant the world to me. Do you understand? Even my spirit to be blessing that kind of person. So sometimes you might not even be the one to buy these things for yourself, but encouraging other people in your life to add such value to you. I just wanted to just share that. So, okay, monitoring your growth, right? So I'm going to tell you a trap that I fell in early days of my business. It's something that, if they ask me maybe 20 things I've learned, is one of the things I'll mention is obsessing over my competition. And I'll tell you why. So I believe and I know that I'm a creative. I don't copy people. I'm very authentic. God has blessed me. I feel like I have the mind, I have the capacity. I believe that I have the capacity to think and execute things without copying somebody else hook, line, and sinker. And I mean, things like, let me say, branding. I want to do a flyer. I actually sit on my computer and I think of what I want to reflect, and I do it. I don't just go on my computer's page, carry it, and then I replicate. It's a no for me, right? Maybe because I also understand plagiarism as well. But I had this competitor. This lady, as at that time, was positioning her business to be an exact replica of mine. I'm talking as far as a customer that actually reached out to us, that they saw our products, our thank you card somewhere, and they had to look closely before they saw that it was not our own business, right? So this lady, she had shopped from us, she had looked at our processes, she had even come to our physical shop, up onto the color of the shopping basket. You know, when you go to a store in Lagos and they will give you a basket to put your things inside, the exact same thing. So I was like, I went on this lady's page and I thought I was seeing my store. I thought I was seeing everything was the same. The only thing that was different was, I would say, lingua, like the way she communicated to our customers, the way she writes captions. That was just the only thing. But the if I just edited all the captions, it could have passed for my business and maybe the name. And do you know that this thing became like a thorn in my flesh? When I just see the girls post, I do, resentment. She just used to irritate me. I'm just being vulnerable. Do you know, this irritation moved me to the point that I got her number. I don't even know how I got it. And I called her and I said, this is so silly of me. And I called her and I said, hi, my name is Tosin. I saw your post and I told you this. She now said, that she's so happy that I called her, that I'm a big inspiration to her. God, I was not even flattered. You know how they say imitation is flat. I was even more disgusted. That she didn't mean to copy me. That she just asked her printer to go and print something. And when she brought it, was saying, and I said, what are the odds in the whole universe? Your printer decided to print something and it was exactly like a competitor. How convenient. And she was like, no, that she's so happy that she has my number. Okay, that she'll be checking up on me. I just had to just form, like, I understood that it's okay, women supporting women, but I was livid. But then that's the beauty of being a Christian. The more I carried my concerns to God in prayer, the more God was dealing with me instead of the issue. God started teaching me that you feel somebody's copying me, that means you have limited yourself to think that that's the most productive or creative you can be. So it took me, I would say, a couple of weeks of just telling myself, I'm not going to check this person's business page. I'm not going to see what they are stocking. I'm not going to check their pricing. To the point that I felt like, obviously, when you already have a preconceived notion about someone, your assumptions might even be true or even not true. I felt like maybe if I price a product 11,500, she was purposely pricing her own 11,450. She'll now caption it, maybe cheapest price you can find anywhere. And those things used to make my blood, boil that time. But obviously, as I just grew in my own personal fellowship with God, outside this conversation with this person, I realized that, even monitoring growth in my business, yes, there's no business globally that does not look at what competitors are doing so they can thrive, but not to the point where it becomes an idol in your hearts. You find that you are even so limited. So when you're now doing things, you are trying to do it like I said, let me see how they'll top this one. But instead of, you are even limiting I would say, the inspiration that you can get from the Holy Spirit. And it took this conversation maybe happened 7 years ago. And it took some time, but I can say to the glory of God that I don't even know how the business is doing now. Right? Because now I'm not comparing myself to such businesses anymore. I'm thinking I just look at, like, there's a Google Analytics plugin that I have that allows me to see average pricing. And me, my business unique selling point is not that we are the cheapest, but we give the best value, best customer support, best product selection, best curation. These are some of the things that I have realized that that's why my customers or our customers keep coming back to us. So when it comes to monitoring, please don't feel like you are monitoring growth by, this business, they have 10,000 followers. Me, I only have 2,000 followers. Trust me, there are businesses that they even have so little followers, but they're commanding good figures, or you monitor and you say, this business, they always post by 7 a.m. You now start posting at 7 a.m. Forgetting that maybe your target audiences are different, or it's not even the same. And maybe the person is just posting at 7 a.m. because that maybe they're on the bus to work. That's the only time that they have. But you are copying them. You don't even know the reasoning behind it. So please don't feel like you need to monitor other people before you can measure growth or anything. We'll come to finance shortly. Then also measuring your growth, please don't be silly. And the previous point I mentioned, I don't want anybody to think that this is an excuse to be slothful, right? Or it's an excuse for you to, as a business owner, you'll be like, because I was on this call and Tosin said we should not be obsessing over our customers, you will now be there. everybody in Nigeria or in Kenya or in the UK is now stocking a new type of, let me say, nylon. Let me say you have a nylon business, but you are stuck on the polyethylene one you've been stocking since 2020 because you don't know what people are using anymore. You've not informed yourself. Remember that I said earlier that I even watch YouTube videos just to see what people are using and buying so that I know the types of goods to also stock. So you need to educate yourself as well. And there's something I also call cross-industry measurements. So even though, let me say you have a maybe a carpentry business, maybe you're a joiner, right? And maybe you are building your terms and conditions. It's not necessarily that you go online and you now say, oh, carpentry businesses, top 10 carpentry businesses in the world. No, you can actually go on Mercedes website. This is a car company that has nothing to do with joinery. But because you know that a company like Mercedes, they will have a more resources to have tighter terms and conditions, better T&Cs, better terms of use. They are a longer standing business. So there's some expenses that they might have had, but you are able to go on their website or just go on their social media page and just learn some of the way they're doing things. Doesn't mean you're going to replicate everything verbatim, but just to see how things are done on a global level. So I'll give you an instance. I had a workshop last week in this accelerator that I said I'm working on or I'm working in. And some of the things that we're learning now is that customers now have pivoted from we. Yes? Okay, I'm coming. From we to I. Customers have pivoted from we to I. And I'll give you that instance. So before, customers, they used to love businesses that say the corporate lingo, we are doing this, we are doing that. But now they've pivoted to, for example, a company like, let me say, ASOS. I don't know if you know, everybody on the call should know ASOS. It's a fashion brand. When you buy from ASOS and maybe you have a customer complaint and you message them in the DMs, in the comment, they would reply professionally, but they'll put hyphen the person's name. So maybe I would say, I'm the customer service professional, and then I'll reply and I'll say, oh, thank you, Amy, for, contacting me. Thank you, Amy, for this thing. I would sort out your products. Regards, Tosin. Sorry, guys. They would say things like, thank you for contacting us. Kind regards. Don't worry, I'll sort it out. Kind regards, Tosin, just to give you that one-on-one, feeling, one-on-one feedback. But obviously, if you are not inclined to that, maybe depending on your industry, you might still be using maybe Mercedes or maybe a Goldman Sachs type of lingua, and you think you're being excellent, but because you have not done like a cross industry, you're not looking at what other global organizations are even doing. Even people that are even bigger than you times 5,000% are still using a personal approach because they've invested in market research to know that customers would just rather that one-on-one. Isla, you might not know, so it's very important that you do that. So for the finance aspect, everybody knows that you're not in business to count paper, except you're even what they call them, a social enterprise is still there to make money and impact the environment. So it's still there to, make money and impact the environment. It's very important that you get your numbers right. If not, we all know income is not. Just wear this. Okay. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, I'm back. We're all in business to make money. So it's important that you know that all income is not for you to spend. Turnover is not profits. I think we all know that by now. But obviously, if you don't have your act together, you don't have your papers together, and I'll give another scenario in regards this now. So I just remember that with these currency fluctuations, there was an argument I read somewhere. So my friend was telling me actually initially that, oh, she doesn't understand why business owners increase their price when the exchange rate has gone up and they are still with old stock. So in context, you buy this phone, maybe you do electronics in your business. You buy this phone for $100 at the rate of 1,000 naira per dollar. That means your cost price is, let me say, 100,000 naira. You add your profits, 30,000 naira, whatever metrics you use to form profit. So you're selling it for 130. Dollar now goes up to 1,005. You automatically change your price even with old stock. So it's like, it doesn't make sense. It's not like as if they're buying it. And I had to explain to her is that No, they will not be able to restock with the new stock if they. Oh my goodness.
What other dress?
Anything you want to wear, you
I
can
want to
wear.
wear the black dress.
That's okay. You can wear the black dress.
But I can't reach it.
Okay. Let's...
I can't pull it. I can't do it. One. This one. Yeah. I
Okay.
can't do it.
Just give me a minute, Tyler. So, I had to explain to her that if you don't change your prices, what's going to happen is that you won't be able to restock at the same rate you were before. It's like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense in that regard. But then, what if the exchange rate now drops? Are you now going to reduce your price again? Some people do. Some businesses are able to if they feel they need to. Some people don't. They're not compelled to. A business would rather make more profits than position themselves to make a risk. Right? So with finances, just like things, see, the world is so easy now. It's gone are the days where finance was like gibberish. It's so easy. You can just download even Zero. Zero is called Xero, the app, and you can start doing your inventory there. But if you have a large, product-based business, maybe your stock level is so high, you are bringing in lots of money. You definitely, if you're bringing lots of money, that means you'll be able to employ accountants. Do you understand? So you just need to allow yourself grow at the pace that your business is growing with. The finance one, you need to, if you're going to pay a salary. So I know people are very quick to say, oh, pay yourself a salary is very good. Yes, but sometimes as a business owner, you're not even able to, because the business is not even generating enough income, and maybe it's still a side hustle. But I would say is that once you see a steady, would I say, steady flow of income, sales in your business, good profit, you are standing in a good place, you are progressively growing, I would say definitely put yourself on a salary. If not, you start buying from yourself and you will not pay back. If not, you will not have money. You just be wondering. If not, you might never even be able to tithe, because you're not even getting any income. If not, if you want to buy a house, for instance, I said we just moved. When we bought our house, because I was not paying myself a salary from the UK at that time, because the UK business is like 3 years old, I was not able to use the UK business to buy the house. I had to use cash savings. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I had to say that the money that I'm adding to the house is from cash savings, and I had to prove it. How did you get cash savings? Because of anti-money laundering. So because of the way the world is even evolving, for you to even be able to do things, even I was telling someone that Nigeria is going to get to a point that before you can even import anything or even export anything, you would need to start showing your tax identification number and all those things. Because even here in the UK, there's something called EROI as well to import or export anything. You just need to have your books checked. Everything needs to be on point. So please don't feel like your business is too little or too big for you to transition or for you to kickstart something. See, there's something that I always tell people is that from day one of your business, if maybe you're here and you're still brainstorming on your idea, you've not really started the business, do your best to get it right. You see that website that you think you have when you are big, start it now. You cannot see, you have nothing to lose by starting it early and starting things the right way. You can only learn. And also, having the right attitude and the right personality, having a business. You speak to some business owners and the way they handle loss and failure is almost suicidal, because they've turned that thing. The Bible says that the lust of the flesh, the pride of life, it's like a god for them. They don't even realize that it's a god for them. So I'm not saying that you will not have challenges that would cause you to even be worried, cry, even even feel like a failure, but it's just a feeling. We should have the right attitude, because business comes with many highs and sometimes it has lows, but those lows are just challenges. You're supposed to overcome them. So you're right to have the right attitude, the way you communicate. See, I was telling someone the other day that I was coaching a staff, right? I was coaching her through a voice note on how best to handle the situation she had shared with me. And I didn't even notice that I was doing this. So she had gone to one of our courier partners and she was unable to send all the parcels going out of state for that day. This is my Lagos business now. So she told me that, that she's going back home, that she's not able to send it. So I said to her, did you ask them why you were not able to send it? Is it a global problem? Is it a isolated our own business account with them, because we have an e-commerce business account with them? What is it? And she said, no, that they said that the machine is not working. I'm like, I'm sorry. So I replied, I said, this excuse is not tangible enough. They need to tell me in technical terms what's happening so that we don't repeat the issue again tomorrow. What if you come back tomorrow again and it's the same thing? That means you've added two working days to our delivery timelines. Means that a customer that is in Ibadan that ordered and we promised that she'll get our goods between 3 to 5 working days, is already becoming 5 to 7 or 5 to 8 working days. So she asked them, and they were not able to explain to her that the person's system that she was working on, that she was at, maybe it had a glitch. So she needed to go and join another queue with another computer and another desk, and she was able to send the parcels. So I was sharing with my friend, and my friend said to me that one thing that she noticed when I was talking was I was not attacking her personality. I was talking about the issue. The issue on hand is not directed at you as your personality, it's directed at the issue. But I find that a lot of business owners, because we are the ones that started the business, there's so much emotion. There's so much charge. I have people that the way they talk to their staff, if I was working in such environments, I would just resign because maybe me, it's not a do or die affair for me. Do you understand? So some people, they'll be talking to their staff very condescending, and you expect this person to give you a plus behavior, or the way you yourself you talk about your customers. Some customers make not the best decisions. Some customers like to be you will tell them that's the way everybody knows that you can apply visa by yourself by going on the UK government's website. But some people will still rather pay agents because we cannot all be the same. Not everybody has that what would I say, the confidence of doing things by themselves, maybe because of social construct, the way they were born, the way they've just been doing things, maybe all the stages in their life where they should have learned how to be confident in maybe applying for schools, courses, they've always had somebody do it. So they feel something as important as maybe a visa, they also need an agent. That kind of person, if the person maybe was your staff or maybe a customer that still wants you to help them to do everything, how are you going to manage those types of people? Are you going to let emotions get the best of you? These are so many personal. See, a business owner just has to, even if you're not a leader, you have to wear the shoes of a leader. If you feel like you're not a natural born leader for whatever reason, you have to wear the shoes of a leader. You need to learn how to manage people. You need to learn how to coach people to bring out the best in them. You need to be, see, I said I had staff that was as young as 17, 18 years old. You need to let them know that you are passionate about their growth. So that staff, for instance, I kept on telling her she should go and get forms to write jam. Yes, she's not going to be in my business forever. But some of these people, they don't see beyond them just getting their salary every month. Is you that you are a child of God running, and I'll put case in point. I have a friend. I was still in Nigeria then, years ago. She had a driver. She was working on the island. She was living in Ikeja. So the driver will take her to work on the island. Can you believe that this driver, like many Nigerian drivers, will sit down in our office from 9 o'clock to 6 p.m. daily, doing nothing but faffing, sleeping. Maybe she has errands, she'll send him to Lagos Island Market, gisting with other drivers. So she was telling me one day that if I needed anything, that a driver can just, and I asked her, and I'm like, are you happy with the way your driver is just wasting his time? She said, I know he's doing a job. I said, yes, there's dignity in labor, but you are not making him productive. I said, how much are you paying this guy that you feel his destiny is worth sitting down with you morning to night when you have no need of him? I said, why don't you ask him that, what does he want to do? So maybe when he drops you at work, you can buy a course for him if he's someone that is educated, and he can be learning something on a computer between 10 to 1. Then maybe 1 to 6, he can wait again, just so that you show that you are interested in their growth. So I know that this one is another topic entirely, because I find that some people love to keep their staff under them so that they don't grow. There's no room for growth. Then they wonder how they don't have staff retention. You can never have staff retention when the person that is very ambitious is working under you, but your job is so closed-ended. You yourself, your business is not growing, so they cannot grow. Who wants to be a sales rep till Jesus comes? Of course, when they see another job, they will use your experience. They'll go and enter entry level as a banker, which is great. And the bank will pay them, and at least that one, there's more career path growth there. So I just want to encourage you as a business owner, begin to work on your personality, how you talk to people, how you settle claims. If you don't know how to type emails, it's very redundant. You are stuck in your ways. You can always learn and improve. You can always practice with your loved ones. Our friends are not just for banter, they are our God-given sample size. We can use them, we can ask them questions. Even me, as I'm not around now, I have some friends that will just randomly just walk into my store just to see what's going on. They'll send me pictures, or they will just order online, or they will call my store, and how they respond. Or I even tell them myself, oh yeah, call. These are people that would help you in just growing your business and yourself. And just staying informed, we kind of touched on that earlier. Don't be an ignorant person. Don't Ignorance is a device of the devil. It keeps us under. Ignorance is just evil. Don't be ignorant. Make sure you are learning, you are unlearning, you are practicing everything that you have learned. You know that some people, you see them all the conference they attend every week, but implementation zero. So may the Lord continually help us in Jesus. I'm going to stop now. And if there are any questions, and please pardon me, my daughter needed to use the bathroom. That's why she came. Thank you very much.
Wow, 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 wow. I think I can just keep saying wow till the meeting ends. But no, thank you so, so, so much. Tosin, this has been a lot of value. Everyone, if you've been blessed, if you've learned something, if you've taken a note, plenty notes, whatever it is, please let us just show appreciation for Tosin. Put something in the chat section. Let us know, how much this has blessed you so far. I'm just so, so thankful for this session. Personally, I wrote notes and I have an A4 sheet of paper with me and I have 1.5 pages. Like it's like 75% filled out. This has been such a blessing. And I think that the things that were shared are things that truly cut across different industries, right? So everything won't apply everywhere, but a lot of what has been shared are things that can apply for many people, many industries, and even different countries. There are things that I've noted here that, even I'm going to have to put in place and work on. So thanks once again. I want to give everyone a chance to ask questions. So please, if you have questions, maybe relating to your specific business, maybe something that she mentioned that you want her to elaborate on, please raise your hand and we will go around the room, based on the list of people who have raised their hands. So if you have a question on something she's mentioned, maybe you have a specific kind of business, maybe your business is in the same field as hers, or rather in the same industry, maybe you have a retail business as well, or maybe you don't even have a business in her own industry, but you have a question about something she shared or your specific business, maybe a scenario you're facing right now or one you have faced before, and you want to know how to not get back in that kind of situation again, please raise your hand, and let us ask these questions. We have her for the next 20 minutes, so please don't wait till more people have raised their hand because you're trying to see how many people have raised their hand, but please go on and raise your hand right now, and we'll have her answer these questions that we have. Before we do that, Damola, are you able to come off mute? I don't know if you're somewhere where you can speak.
Amy, I wanted to address one question. I didn't even know that there was a chat going on while I was speaking. So I'm just going to answer
Oh,
one
okay.
question that said, how did I deal with powering the shop? So we have an inverter. We have an inverter. We had to buy that. We have an inverter. But luckily, the store is in a complex where the electricity is actually not bad. And actually, in hindsight, the only thing that we actually needed electricity was for air conditioning. So because so that the products don't melt, not necessarily for really anything as such. The receipts, what we used to do is we actually, Nigeria, we have receipt booklets. So we write them out, but we have a system that at the end of the day, all the receipts are entered onto the system and we reconcile our stock almost weekly. So that helps as well. So that not at the end of the month or when the staff is now leaving, you now start noticing that 30 things are missing. But weekly, we're able to do that as well. And that helps.
Thanks so much for that. I think there's a couple of other questions there. I actually forgot that there were some questions there. But, so just on that note of reconciling inventory regularly to ensure that there isn't theft, in your experience, doing this business as long as you have, and especially, the fact that you run the Lagos business remotely, have you come across theft, amongst employees? If you have, how did you handle the situation? And while Tosin is Tosin is going to answer that question shortly, but I want you all to please put your comments, like if you can't come off mute to ask your questions, put it in the comment section. But if you can come off mute, please raise your hand, and she'll answer the question. So yes, have you encountered theft?
Yes, I have. So I remember that when my staff had to go to uni because she finally did admission, I had to employ somebody else. And one of my friends just reached out to my friends, they use that word loosely, reached out to me that her younger sister could do the role. So, in fact, I remember the last week I was telling somebody that one of my learning points in my business is I employed someone out of empathy, not out of doing my own due diligence. So I employed this lady. I don't even think I even prayed about this girl, to be honest. I just trusted the sister's judgment. And she was a criminal, or was a criminal, for lack of a better word. And she used to steal. But two ways I found, as I said, we do stock taking weekly. Things were not just adding up, right? But unfortunately for me at that time, I was heavily pregnant at that time. So I wasn't as, it was during COVID. I wasn't really as would I say on top of my game as I usually would have. So I just, when I know something, I don't flag it. I was just adding it to my Excel and all of that. So one day we just decided to. Another thing is, thank you, Holy Spirit. I started dreaming the weirdest dreams, and I know this may sound very, spiritual, but I'm just being honest. This is one of the ways that God, ministers to us as children. And I started having very weird dreams that I teleported into the store, and my store was they was using it for another business entirely, like a tailoring business. And those kind of dreams, and me, I don't dream stupid dreams. All my dreams, I feel like they're all meaningful, except maybe I watched something very different. So I started questioning her. The things were not going well. So I just said, okay, no problem. I just got an external person, came to the store, they physically did the counting. A lot of things were missing, obviously because she knew better. We got somebody to check her account balance. All the sales were there. She was doing once. I don't know if you guys remember MMM or something like that. That's what she was using the money for. So that's another learning point for me, because we now had to stop cash sales because of this. See, when cash is exchanging hand, problem. So we decided to just stop that for that period. Even till now, we barely do cash sales at all. But this person I have now, God, as she's so amazing. The previous lady, so she confessed, said, okay, she'll pay back and all of that. So what I did, how did I handle it? I let her know that, I know you're stealing. You definitely not be able to work with me anymore. But we need to do a payment plan. That's why when you're employing somebody, even if, thankfully, even when I employed her out of empathy, I still made her go through my processes, filling employment form, getting a guarantor, two guarantors. One was her sister, and one was, I think, one of our pastors in church. The sister that is supposed to be a friend of mine and acquaintance, obviously she apologized. She said she was going to pay back the money. It was a lot of money that time. I think if I look back, like 500K in the space of a month or so. And we ascertained that was all the money that was stolen, because from the time she joined and that. So that period, we were able to put her on the payment plan. Obviously, I fired her, put the sister on a payment plan. But you guys know, unfortunately, this incident actually spoiled my relationship with her sister, because she wasn't forthcoming with the payments as well. And the kind of person I am, I did not, and maybe the period of my life as well. Maybe now I would have handled it, taking the bulls by the horn and maybe taking more drastic actions. But I just ghosted her. I just sent her a message that I hope that her conscience obviously, judges her, because she's my friend and I can't believe that, she's doing this to me. So she flew to Nigeria. I don't know, maybe somebody spoke to her, but one day I just woke up and the whole balance of the money was paid. So I thank God that, she was able to pay back that money. But what if her guarantors decide I did not know them? What if they did not have a conscience? Sometimes you take your L, sometimes you don't. In this case, like I did. But obviously, going on, me, I just took my learning points. So my L is not even lost, it's my learning points. I took it from there. All the tiny loopholes, the weekend opening, those were the days that most of the thefts were being done. What she was even doing was that she actually was not just stealing products. She was so, because we have a website system, when a customer orders on the website, let's say they order 2 shampoos and we have 2 left in stock because the stock is accurate. But because she has maybe stolen one of the products or sold one to a walk-in customer and did not remit it, when an online order comes in, she's only able to, because we have a system where every order that goes out, we have a picture of it. And it's not even because of the staff, it's because of the customers. Some of Nigerian customers are very dubious. They'll receive A and they'll say they receive Z. So we started snapping all the orders going out. And we have a system and it just works. And obviously with CCTV and everything. So I now noticed that she will be taking time to send pictures. She won't send the picture, or she will put a product that does not look like the other product. Then I'll ask her, where did you get this? This product is not part of the inventory that was, delivered to the shop. Then she will now have to confess that she's sorry, ma. She sold the product. So she went to Ade-Aibinu, which is notorious for selling fake goods. and stocked it. So we had actually what flagged that product theft one was we had a customer that bought a product from us and was insisting that she has been buying it from us for many years and this is not the consistency. So me, I just said, oh, maybe the manufacturer changed the formula because it happened. She said no, that she didn't buy it. So she said she was going to send me a picture. So she sent us a picture on email. And as soon as I saw the products, I knew it was fake. The packaging was pixelated. It just, you know what I meant? It was just off. So obviously I knew that that product did not come from my store. If I had to tell the customer, are you sure she bought it from us? She said yes, as well as what was delivered. So obviously I had to now, Yoruba people say, I had to, drill her. And then she confessed that she actually went to buy it from a local store. So I think that one was for me was actually the deal breaker because you're not even just harming my pockets, you're harming my reputation. You understand what I mean? So we were able to just find a way, get her, and obviously the staff that. Another thing that I do is when we are handing over from staff to staff, most times I make sure that the old staff is still there while we are handing over to the new staff. I've not really had to change a lot of staff, but I mean, in 10 years, you would have had to change, especially when it's low level roles like that. We hand over. So when the new staff is coming in and she's watching how the old staff is being drilled on the stock reconciliation, because they do a handover, a week handover, it makes her more security conscious. You understand what I'm saying? Customers even shoplift. You understand? Sometimes it's not even the staff. Customers shoplift. So it just makes her a little bit more security conscious and knows the pros and the cons. Another thing Amy, I'd like to share is that let's not be too shrewd. I know, the Bible says, let's not be too shrewd. Don't be a business owner that when they steal one biro, not even theft. Theft is even far off. That's a character flaw. Maybe they come late. Maybe there was traffic. Maybe she slept off in the shop. You are quick to deduct their salaries. You are quick to scold them. You are quick to, sometimes when they resume, you say, good morning, how are you? Ask them, how are you? You find out that maybe the living conditions they're even living is not even palatable. So they will be disoriented, when they're at work. So try not to be too shrewd. The fruit of the spirit applies even as an entrepreneur and as an employer of labor. So that's what I would say. I think some questions are coming in now. Okay.
Thank you very much for that answer, Tosin. And I think the thing that stuck out for me was how having this how do I explain, kind of like a double system of keeping an eye on things helped you identify theft, right? So because that is so key. And I hope that people caught that because you have an updated website system. So if you were selling physically in the store, it's possible, and like you didn't have like an online system, it's possible that you may have missed it. But because your website runs like optimally and it is updated to the T, that's how you were able to catch that. Somebody ordered something and then you're being told it's out of stock, which doesn't make sense because you like have that inventory management on the website. So there's absolutely no reason why the website is saying that this thing is available and your staff is saying it's not. Like that was the point where you were able to identify that something had been stolen. So I wanted to call that out as far as, because I know we've talked about it here before, why there is a need to invest in proper systems that can help you manage and monitor your business. It's good to do things on paper. It's good to have these paper systems and all of that. But at least when you have technology, that's the beautiful thing about it is there's hardly human error in that, right? The inventory tracker on the website, like it's not subject to a person's mistake. So it's a very easy way for you to catch when things are no longer measuring properly. So thank you so much for that, Tosin. There's a question here, and it says, well, two questions from this person. How do you choose people to hire? People in church either than hiring. I don't quite understand the question. So
okay, I think I understand what the person is saying.
Right, like how do you choose people to hire maybe in church instead of hiring out of pity? I don't know. Hopefully you understand it better.
Okay. Me, I don't do church again. The first time I did it was the last time. That was with this person. That was a church member, sister, acquaintance, sort of. So I don't even mix. Even my church members here, because they know I'm doing this business, they always want me to bring products for them. I tell them to order on the website, and I give them a coupon code for free delivery. So I try not to mix my personality with my business. I try not to. Sometimes you work with your head and sometimes with your heart, but I try not to. But hiring people, I actually I did a professional route. So I have one staff. I had one staff. She's gone off to uni now. She went to learn German. This is, in fact, I told her that if she goes in life and she needs a reference, I'm happy to do a video reference of her. Adesua. I hired this girl through an Instagram ad I did. So I did a flyer for staff, and I promoted it. But I promoted it to the area where my store is. So that's VGC Aja. That's why I just did the ad too. So I wanted only people within that area to apply, so that nothing like you apply, then you're coming from Shomolu, you will always be late now. There's no high except, and I don't want to spoil your personal life that you need to be waking up by 4 a.m. to get to work. No, I'm not that kind of person. So she was excellent. I did not know anybody with this girl. I don't even know how she looks like because it's just video calls and I've never met her one-on-one. But she was one of the, she's fat. She finished her job. She worked with me for 2 years. She went to school. When she came back for IT and long holiday, she actually still works with me when she's around from break. So I still pay her. I'll tell her whenever you're around, she'll call me that she's around and I'll pay her. She was outstanding, for lack of a better word. So I try to be as I don't really like nepotism. Somebody that knows something. Sometimes it works excellently, and sometimes it not only spoils your business, as I said earlier, it spoils the relationship you have with the person that introduced both of you. You know, or even if he's a church member, your pastor now start getting involved, making your life messy. You know, that. Then technological tools. So I'll share some that we use because my business is mainly on a website platform. Most of the tools that I use are things that I've bought embedded in the website. So for instance, when a product is out of stock, so we have a tool that I bought that you leave your email. So when the product is in stock, I don't need to start announcing on Instagram and dancing. It's just send everybody on waiting list mail that the product you asked for on the 13th of June is now back in stock. And you find out that even before the close of day, half of the inventory is already gone because people are actually waiting for that. So that's one tool that I would say we use. Another tool that I use, obviously, is, as I said earlier, monitoring where my traffic is coming from. So I know which platforms to invest into more. If I'm spending so much time on Instagram, maybe it's not Instagram, maybe it's Google, maybe it's mailing list. I remember that during pandemic, mailing lists were working better. So that's another tool that I would say I use. Another one that I use is obviously the plugins that I've connected with my courier partners. So for the UK, like Royal Mail, we have plugins that once I put the weight of the product, the price is already set. So I don't need to start doing manual, going to the post office physically. No time. So those are three. And obviously technological, I mentioned MailChimp for newsletters. I mentioned HubSpot for newsletters. I also have which other one customer I paid for recently? Some design tools that allows me to have more flexibility, like Elementor Pro, some of those things that I use as well. So I'll say those are some of the tools that I use. But if you don't have a website business, some of these tools will be useless to you. So
Actually, my would I say challenge to everyone here is, and I guess it would really depend on the kind of business you run. I will really encourage you to at least have a website, because you find that a lot of the tools that she's mentioning, they come attached to a website, and that's a good point. Because even for me, like if you're like, oh, what tools do you use? Many of those things, like these platforms that are available now, those things are attached to the websites, right? Some of them you can buy independently, but a lot of them are attached to websites. So even if you're not where you can send your customers to order on the website, see what I said earlier, like even just having that website is like a double system of integrity for you, to where you can truly keep track on your numbers. Like, okay, if the website is saying that we have sold 50 items and our revenue is 300,000 because you are tracking it, why is it only 200,000 that my staff is reporting, right? Like, it truly helps you.
and
So
Amy,
I
can I just
yeah,
say,
go on.
sorry to interrupt you, it's just say that you can't also be slow. Oh, it's telling me to rejoin. Am I supposed to rejoin?
Oh, no, we can hear you.
Okay. So another thing is that you can also be slothful. So even if you're using the website as a backup, if you're not entering the data entry,
Yep.
you're just wasting your money. Also, I would say one practical way that we win our customer from relying solely on WhatsApp and Instagram DMs and all those things is actually helping them to place the order. So I'll give you an instance. So a customer that maybe a first-time buyer, which is, oh, I want to buy 3 shampoos, 3 oils, 3 whatever. We say, okay, that's great. Please note that all our orders are taken via the website. But because you're a first-time customer, we'll be happy to place the order on your behalf and then just make payments by bank transfer. We don't need your card. As I said, low trust environments. You have to localize your business. You can't be using the systems that you're using in the UK for Nigeria where people are afraid of scam. So I will say to that kind of customer, so please, can I have your name, your address, normal details you've asked anyway for delivery, phone number and email. And you also put in bracket in that email that, please, we promise we do not send spam or junk. So once they say maybe they want to order, let me say 3, maybe you are a florist, they want to order a flower for their Valentine's. You create the order like is a customer on the back end, and then they get you be like, please, can you check your email for the invoice? Even that even makes them know that you are serious. So when they come back and you now let them know that please all order updates, like as your husband or your order being shipped, if you call the store, you will need your order number before we can answer any inquiry. So when then they already know that you are already winning them off. So next time when that person wants to order, they will know that let me go and use the website because you place the website order on their behalf. They've seen how it works. When you dispatch the order, they got a mail, order dispatched. So they know that this person, they're serious. You go and invest almost how many thousands to do a website, but then you are not updating your sales. Customer order, they don't get tracking, they don't get anything. Just get. But when you are doing like that, that kind of customer will most likely be a repeat customer because she has tested the processes and it works. And you know, repeat customers are the bone of the business. Good new customers are great, but repeat customers are gold. Do you understand? So by the time you tell them that when the customer says, oh, I ordered something yesterday, I mean, you know, go and they want it, nah. But because you already helped them to place it through the website, the website has already shown them that when they got the invoice, that the delivery is maybe 5 working days. You say, oh, ma, based on the website, this thing was there, it's 5 working days. But no problem. On your order number is this thing. I'm happy to follow up with the courier company just to buy their loyalty. Do you understand? So, and I said, it still goes back to don't be too shrewd, don't be too. If you want to buy, you buy. If you're not ready to buy, no. If you're in an environment where you might need to, especially when you've been doing something the same way for many years, you now want to pivot, it will be hard. There are even some of your customers that till tomorrow they will never use the website, maybe because they are elderly. You understand? Not necessarily because they don't want to use it. You know, they are elderly, so you just need to always make room for those wiggle rooms. Even Amazon, if you cannot place the order online, if you contact customer service, they will take it for you over the phone. So how much more? So these are some of the things I just quickly wanted to share.
That's really great. Tamara, you had your hand up earlier. I want to make sure we can take your question. We need to release Tosin for our family very soon.
Okay, good evening, man.
Good evening.
Good
Hello.
evening.
I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It has been enlightening. Okay, personally, I have a question concerning this website thing. For like this website, it works very well for eye clinic, but I also do more of fashion, like hair accessories that I bring in from I import to Nigeria. I always have issues trying to do this because most times a particular product can have up to like um 100 designs. So in this kind of scenario, sometimes the design tends to differ. So every time, always going back to always want to take the pictures to input. How do I tend to manage something like this? Like if I want to, okay, let me just go fully automated now. This is the major challenge I usually have when the product comes in. I can have like a particular product having up to maybe 100 different designs of a particular hair accessories for children. Becomes a problem for me to manage snapping or taking pictures. I don't know if I'm able to, if probably you understand what I'm trying to ask.
Thank you, Madam Tamara. Tosin, did you hear the question? Oh, I can't hear Tosin.
Hello.
Okay, yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, I understand a question perfectly. Okay, now the question is where you are buying the things from. First thing, even AliExpress, that they have almost 3 million SKU. They have pictures for each product, for starters. Secondly, for you to run this kind of system, you need to tailor your SKU in such a way that, I'll give you an instance. We sell hair beads. Hair beads, they come in so many patterns. So we tailored our SKU that we only stock 50 or 20. So when we are restocking, it's those similar styles we'll be buying. So when we want to add a new SKU, it will not be like we'll have to take another 100 pictures. We already have 50 already on our website. We'll just add another 50. Do you understand what I'm saying? You cannot. And another thing I noticed that a lot of Chinese websites do, especially when you're buying these kind of products, is that some of them, they'll just put products of different type. They'll tell you random piece, random color. I don't know if you've seen that kind of thing before. They won't tell you choose blue, maybe things like maybe even comb. They say come in random color. right? That's another method depending on the type of product. But I want to encourage you, when you are buying your goods, try to buy things that, because what I don't like even as a customer is to go on a website and there's so much variety, but the one that I'm SKU, stock keeping units. You can also Google things that you don't understand. Stock keeping units. I'm just replying the question there. Stock keeping unit, meaning like individual products, right? You don't want to go to a business that what you bought the last time, they don't have it again. Do you know some business, because they keep changing their designs and their stock. So you want to also ensure that you are encouraging your customers to have ease of ordering. Even if, I don't know how many pieces you buy, different design, maybe because you just buy it in bulk. It's a day's work. It's not a year's work. It's a day's work. You can have product photography day, where all the pictures that you from your inventory, or you get somebody to do it for you. Maybe you just hire a student, or I don't know if you what country you're in, maybe a student or secondary school. It's just take pictures. That one is not rocket science. You don't need, except you want to go to studio, you can actually do it. It makes your business more. What you can also do is name your products. That's what I was going to say. So these patterns, you can categorize them. If it's hair accessories, that maybe children, you have 400 designs. You can just say headbands. That's one category. Flowery headbands, category 2. Like that, that will help you to upload the pictures and ascertain price. Because customers are choosy. The more options you give them, the more choosy they will be. Do you understand? So you will need to find, I don't know if I'm able to answer your question, you're getting answers. Please consider them. Define your SKU. You too, as a business owner, it's not everything that is available you will store. You know your best sellers. You know the ones that, people keep coming back. Because you want to be on trend, I know that there might be a need to, add different varieties. But if you are buying a product, 100 pieces, why don't you buy 50 products and buy 10 of each? Instead of buying 100 different SKU and one of each. Or except I don't know how you're stocking the business. So that's what I would recommend. Somebody said, who designed my website? I shared earlier at the beginning of this thing that I learned how to do it myself, but this is years ago. So I've been doing it myself since. But there's so many platforms for websites. We've shared, there's Upwork. You can go there, you can get a designer. You can use Shopify by yourself. You can use all this get ready to go Squarespace. You can use one pagers. If you're in Nigeria, all these one pager websites, maybe you don't have up to 10 products. Paystack, they have shoppers platform. You can use Paystack. You will just create a shop on their own hosting. You just be giving them a commission when you make sales, but it's not a lot. They usually charge maybe 20 naira. It's not a lot. It's not a lot of money. So please don't be Flutterwave, exactly. Those kind of platforms. There, you can create one pagers on their website as well.
Thank you, Tosin.